Hi, I'm Jacqueline Hansen. Here's a look at some of our biggest business stories of the week. 2 provinces, 2 budgets, and 2 totally different fiscal strategies. Alberta and Newfoundland and Labrador are alike in one big way. They're both struggling from the collapse in oil prices, but their budgets are 2 entirely different approaches to dealing with it. Alberta is ramping up spending to support the province through its downturn, whereas Newfoundland is going the austerity route, cutting spending and hiking taxes to make up for lost revenue. And even though Newfoundlanders knew a tough budget was in the works, the details are still a shock to some.
My reaction when I heard what they're doing right now was threefold. One was wow, I was surprised of how big the cuts and taxes are. 2 was holy, and you can put whatever 4-letter word you want into it. And the other reaction was this is just one shoe that's going to drop and the other one's going to drop in the fall.
Cautious is how many economists described the Bank of Canada this week. It upgraded its forecast for the Canadian economy, but at the same time warned that it still has a list of concerns. And some suspect that's because the bank doesn't want to talk up the value of the Canadian dollar.
The Bank of Canada had a very difficult policy communication challenge here. They had to acknowledge that growth was better, but they don't want too strong a Canadian dollar. Now, we have to remember there are some good things that come with a weak Canadian dollar, and that is that our exports and manufacturing sectors do well. But the problem is it can be really difficult on consumers and on businesses who have to import a lot of things. So you want a sweet spot there.
Lionsgate and PayPal took a stand against anti-LGBT laws in North Carolina, but that was just the beginning. Opposition is growing to the legislation. The most high-profile part, a so-called bathroom law. It requires people in the state to only use washrooms that match the gender on their birth certificate. More than 100 businesses are now publicly calling for the law to be repealed. Social activism from the corporate world hasn't always been common, but that seems to be changing.
I don't think it's very risky, but it is a trend, and it's a shift from where corporate activism used to be, much more narrowly focused on the business, and here we're seeing this shift towards social activism, and it's a really interesting trend.
For all of these stories and more, go to cbc.ca/business and join us on Twitter @CBC Business. I'm Jacqueline Hansen. See you in 7 days.